Have you heard about dead internet theory?
What's that?
Like this, it came out like people started talking about it maybe like 5-6 years ago, something like that, where like as bots came out, and it's just become more and more evident, like you're talking about, that it's like something like 60% internet could just be bots interacting with each other and interacting with people, right? And a lot of this engagement you think you're having is not happening, right? And it's slowly just going to become that. Like the internet we know now and social media is going to be like completely different in probably like 5 years, and it's just going to be like a useless hunk of garbage.
Which might actually be a good thing. Like, do you think people would?
But it would be replaced. It would be just
disengage. Or?
No, I think it would just be replaced with something else. People are.
I mean, so
follow me on Blue Sky.
So when TikTok got banned in the U.S., right, for 24 hours,
for half a minute,
right, but it pushed people over to this another. Like people started leaving TikTok to go to a full-on Chinese government app that is like TikTok. It's called Red Note or like She's Out.
They're just
and like 100%. And then all these people on TikTok are interacting with all these people in China, and they're like, wait, China looks actually kind of sick right now. Like comparatively, like people like showing their apartments, like, yeah, I pay like $500 a month for this. I don't, I own a house. I didn't need a credit check and all this sort of stuff. And like. Yeah. And so it kind of backfired.
They don't tell you that you don't need a credit check because you
have a social credit score.
Yeah,
they also didn't. Also, people didn't, and that's the other thing. And then so there was like the inverse. People like China actually rules. It's like, well, no, you're not getting any of the bad parts about China from this app because it is a government-controlled app.
Yeah.
Right, but it was just interesting because people instantly left that, and out of spite for the government, like, well, fuck you, I will go download the most Chinese app available.
The People's app.
The People's app. Xi Jinping on top. CCP for 100 years.
Yeah.
It is weird, though, because it's like, I don't know. It does. When it first came out, Twitter, blah, 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 all this, the public square, the new public square, like, I get all that. Like
Twitter, when it came out, was like just people being, it was like Ashton Kutcher being like, eating an Asian salad with crispy wontons.
But Twitter became like really like in terms of
Arab Spring.
From what I understand, that kind of stuff and like journalism stuff, and actually that's even the last main use of
that was the last time
Twitter.
I used it was around that time when it was like, oh, this is like the quickest way to get news. Like you can get news updates like as it's happening. Like, and I think Arab Spring it became their like number one way to communicate, right? Because they shut down all other modes of communication.
Stuff. Yeah. For me, it was Ukraine war. Like, I got a great list of journalists and people reporting on that, and I followed it on X, and it's like that was, and that's basically all I use it for now, is that and a couple other things. But, so I think it was like it made sense at the time, but this idea, like now, it feels like it's like people are so invested in it, like it's like. I almost feel like the visceral reaction, like you were talking about, where it's like, you're gonna shut down my app. Well, I'm gonna add it, but like it's like there's some kind of like, I don't know. It feels way more important than it should, for what it is, and maybe it is again. Like we're using it in different ways. Because I agree with you, Matt. Like what you said at the beginning, where it's like, it's a giggle, it's a laugh. Like that's Instagram. Like I don't post on it. I try and make posts for the podcast, but I'm terrible at doing that kind of marketing, whatever. But
I intentionally made it.
I just look at it.
I intentionally made it a giggle fest. Like I when I was younger, I used to think that I had to watch all the news because it was my, at the very least, I needed to.
Your duty.
I needed to bear witness. Yeah. And now after the world's gotten so dark and stuff, I can't. I have to really limit how much I expose myself to, because it's
just trying to like
it's
whatever.
Pretty dark out there. So I actively try to keep my Instagram like very lighthearted and funny. And I'm doing it for you guys. I'm doing it for you guys. You need to understand. Like I'm mining Instagram to give you the sweetest, funniest things I can find. Like I feel like I'm putting in work for the people that are closest to me.